Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, your sanctuary for navigating life's complexities and discovering lasting fulfillment. Are you over 40 and feeling like something's missing? Then you're in the right place. We delve into timeless wisdom and practical strategies to help you cultivate a richer, more meaningful existence. In this video, we're tackling a profound question: what is the real purpose of life? Is it really what 99% of us think? We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to chase happiness, success, and material possessions. But is that truly the key to a fulfilling life? Many of us have a quiet voice inside that asks, is this all there is? If you've ever achieved a long-sought goal only to find a subtle emptiness creeping back in, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, please show your support for the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing. We promise you won't regret it. It's an unsettling feeling, this sense that there must be something more, something deeper than the next promotion, the next vacation, or the next fleeting thrill. Think about the stories of those who seem to have it all. Hollywood icon Jim Carrey, at the peak of his fame and fortune, made a powerful statement. He said, "I wish everyone could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer." This poignant remark suggests that success and happiness, as we typically define them, might not be life's ultimate purpose. So, if wealth, fame, and pleasure aren't the answer, what is? To truly understand, we need to peel back two layers of understanding. First, we need to examine why we remain unsatisfied even when we get what we want. Then, we need to uncover a deeper truth, taught over 2,500 years ago, that reframes the very purpose of life. The wisdom shared on Wisdom and Wealth will resonate with you if you feel like you're ready to explore a different path. In this journey, we'll explore modern psychology and real-life stories on the surface level, examining why people pursue goals and happiness yet still feel unfulfilled. Then, we'll dive into the deeper layer, an ancient insight from the Buddha, who realized that the ultimate goal of life isn't happiness as we typically think of it, but freedom from suffering. It's a bold statement, but stick with me, you may be surprised. This isn't a religious sermon or a new age fad. It's a calm, reflective exploration of the human condition, blending psychology, philosophy, and Theravada Buddhist wisdom from the Pali Canon. By the end of this video, you might see your own pursuit of happiness in a new light, and discover a more profound purpose to live for. If this sounds intriguing, then please like and subscribe to the channel. We cover many of life's big questions in a way that is designed to open your eyes. We hope you join our community. Modern society confidently tells us that the purpose of life is to be happy. From childhood, we're taught to set goals, get good grades, find a high-paying job, fall in love, buy a house, have exciting experiences. Underneath all those goals is the assumption that achieving them will make us happy and fulfilled. In many Western countries, the pursuit of happiness is even enshrined as a fundamental right. We measure success in terms of career achievements, social status, and the pleasures we can afford. Advertisements blare that more is better, more money, more comfort, more pleasure, promising that these lead to lasting happiness. Yet, paradoxically, this single-minded chase of happiness often leaves people feeling less happy. It can be quite a trap if you're not careful. Psychologists have observed what some call the happiness paradox. Studies led by Iris Moss found that the more people valued and pursued happiness, the less happy and more lonely they became. It seems that desperately trying to feel good all the time can backfire. We've all experienced this in small ways, like when you try so hard to make a birthday or holiday perfect that you end up stressed and disappointed. Think about that for a moment. An analysis in Time magazine put it succinctly: there's reason to believe that the quest for happiness might be a recipe for misery. When we treat happiness as a goal in and of itself, it becomes an ever-moving target. We keep raising the bar on what we need to feel satisfied. Get the great job, and soon you're yearning for a promotion. Buy a new phone, and delight lasts only until a newer model catches your eye. What is this all leading to? Modern life also presents a distorted image of how happy others are. Social media feeds are full of smiling faces, vacation highlights, and achievements. But as one psychiatrist noted, we rarely see others' miseries and doubts because it is unpleasant and impolite to talk about horrible stuff in public. Do you agree with this? Is it true in your life? Instagram and Facebook show a highlight reel of pleasure, giving the impression that everyone else is blissful. This makes our own normal ups and downs feel suboptimal by comparison. In truth, those people posting beach photos have their unseen struggles, too. The gap between the appearance of constant happiness and the reality of life's challenges can breed a subtle dissatisfaction, a sense that maybe I'm falling short if I'm not as happy as I should be. Another modern myth is that success equals fulfillment. We assume if we accomplish enough, career success, academic degrees, personal projects, we'll feel content. Yet research by Harvard psychologist Dan Gilbert and others on hedonic adaptation shows that even major positive events, like a big promotion or winning the lottery, often only boost happiness temporarily. Are you surprised by this? We quickly get used to new circumstances. The shiny new success soon becomes the new normal, and life's joy returns to baseline. Think about times you really longed for something, perhaps getting into your dream school or moving to a new city. It felt life-changing at first, but months later, you likely found yourself with similar worries and desires as before. It's kind of like new car smell, fun for a while, but then you just get used to the car. This treadmill effect means no accomplishment ever keeps us satisfied for long, we just start chasing the next milestone. Furthermore, the focus on individual achievement and pleasure can isolate us. When we see life's purpose as maximizing our own happiness, we may neglect deeper connections or altruism. The older we get, the more important those deeper connections are to us. Subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth to hear more about this. Ironically, excessive self-focus is correlated with depression and emptiness. Humans are social creatures, and studies consistently show that compassion, community, and meaning contribute far more to well-being than raw pleasure or accolades. In our modern misunderstanding, we've taken means, career, money, leisure, and mistaken them for the end goal of life. We've assumed the point of living is to enjoy and accomplish, when in fact enjoyment and accomplishments are byproducts of something more fundamental. To glimpse what that is, let's look at those who reached society's pinnacle of success, and how it didn't deliver the inner peace they sought. If you are resonating with this video and its message, please consider giving it a like, and subscribing to the channel for many more discussions like this. We often imagine that if we just had a bit more money, more fame, more success, we would finally be content. It's illuminating, then, to hear from people who attained everything that most of us dream of, only to find themselves still dissatisfied. Their reflections from the peak of achievement expose a truth: outer success doesn't automatically heal inner emptiness. Even at the height of knowledge and accomplishment, great minds have felt a profound emptiness. Sir Isaac Newton, after revolutionizing science and understanding the laws of nature, compared himself at life's end to a child on a shore, playing with a few pretty shells while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before him. Despite all his genius, Newton sensed there was infinitely more he didn't know. This humble admission came a little before he died, suggesting that even as he was lauded as one of history's greatest scientists, he felt a lingering incompleteness. Does this resonate with you? Perhaps you're in the process of accumulating wealth and knowledge, but you have the nagging feeling that something is missing. The vast ocean of truth still stretched beyond his grasp, and with it came the realization that worldly accolades hadn't answered the deeper questions of life. Leonardo da Vinci, universally hailed as a quintessential polymath and genius of the Renaissance, felt a similar sting of dissatisfaction in his final moments. According to accounts of his deathbed, Leonardo confessed, "I have offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality it should have." This is a staggering sentiment from a man who painted the Mona Lisa and conceptualized inventions centuries ahead of his time. It reveals that no level of accomplishment was enough to quench Leonardo's inner critic. At the end of a brilliant life, Leonardo felt he had fallen short, calling his life's work insufficient. Such regret and self-judgment speak to the poignant truth that external achievements rarely fill the internal void. One can be admired by the whole world yet still feel unfulfilled and not good enough in one's own heart. We see this theme over and over. Apple co-founder Steve Jobs revolutionized personal computing, amassed a fortune, and became a global icon. Yet in his final days battling cancer, Jobs experienced significant regrets, especially concerning his family life. He admitted that he often neglected family for work and wished he had spent more time with loved ones. As he lay bedridden near the end, unable to climb stairs, Jobs reflected that the pursuit of wealth and business triumphs felt hollow compared to the warmth of personal relationships. Wisdom and Wealth explores these concepts, and can teach you how to bring balance to your life. Please consider liking this video, and subscribing to the channel. It took facing death for him to realize that the ordinary moments, being present with family, nurturing love, were what he cherished most, and he had let too many of those moments slip away. This is a common late-life revelation. People rarely wish they had made more money or won more awards when looking back. They often wish they had lived more meaningfully and kindly. Even in the realm of fame and entertainment, we find the same pattern. Michael Jackson, dubbed the King of Pop after record-breaking musical success, admitted quietly in an interview, "I'm never pleased with anything." He had sold tens of millions of albums, yet described himself as a perfectionist who always felt his next project needed to be better. By the time Bad was topping charts worldwide, an inner dissatisfaction gnawed at him. Likewise, countless celebrities and billionaires struggle with depression, substance abuse, or a sense of meaninglessness once the novelty of success fades. As Jim Carrey wryly observed from experience, getting everything you thought you wanted shows you that that's not the answer. These reflections from the pinnacle of success highlight a striking reality: pleasure, wealth, and recognition do not eradicate the deeper forms of human suffering. You can conquer the world and still feel anxious, unmoored, or incomplete. Why? Because the inner causes of discontent, things like craving, fear, and lack of meaning, aren't solved by outer achievements. We chase the symbols of happiness, money, awards, fame, but what we truly seek is something those symbols often fail to provide: lasting contentment, self-understanding, and peace of mind. Hearing the regrets and yearnings of the rich and famous can be sobering. It suggests that our common roadmap to a good life might be missing a crucial dimension. Subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth to avoid going down the wrong road. If success isn't enough and happiness remains elusive, perhaps we have misunderstood the assignment of life. Perhaps, as we'll explore next, we've been asking the wrong question, aiming for happiness when we should have been examining the nature of our dissatisfaction. To find the real purpose, we must understand the mechanism that keeps us perpetually unsatisfied, even when we get what we want. And if this topic resonates with you, please consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth, your go-to spot for understanding the real meaning in life. Why do we chase what we chase? On the surface, it seems obvious. We pursue joy, pleasure, and positive experiences because we want to feel good. But a deeper look reveals an intriguing insight: much of what we call pursuing happiness is actually an attempt to escape discomfort. It's not what 99% of people think, but is this resonating with you? In other words, we're not so much running toward a marvelous prize called joy as we are running away from the gnawing pains of life. Understanding this flips our perspective. Maybe we are misidentifying relief as happiness. The Buddha offered a striking illustration of this in a teaching known as the Salatha Sutta, the arrow. He observed that an ordinary person, when touched with a feeling of pain, any kind of stress, boredom, loneliness, or irritation, desperately seeks something to soothe it. Touched by that painful feeling, he delights in sensual pleasure. Why is that? Because the uninstructed person does not discern any escape from painful feeling aside from sensual pleasure. In other words, when we feel discomfort, our reflex is to reach for a quick pleasure as an escape. Feeling stressed from work? We grab a drink or binge our favorite show. Feeling lonely? We scroll through social media or seek validation. Feeling unworthy? We might obsessively work for an achievement to prove our value. According to the Buddha, the only escape an unawakened person knows is to temporarily drown out the pain with some pleasure. This pleasure might be as simple as eating ice cream when you're sad, or as destructive as using drugs to numb emotional pain. Either way, the pleasure masks the suffering, for a while. Modern psychology echoes this understanding. For instance, in studies of addiction, researchers find that as addiction deepens, people continue using substances not to get high, but to avoid feeling low. The addict is not trying to get some extra pleasure, but just trying to feel normal or avoid feeling worse, one expert noted. Is this how you've felt in your life? I know I have. What started as pursuit of a good feeling becomes avoidance of a bad feeling. This negative reinforcement cycle isn't limited to clinical addiction, it's present in our daily habits. Think of the person who constantly checks their phone whenever there's a free moment. Perhaps it's not true joy in those social media hits, but a way to avoid boredom or the discomfort of being alone with one's thoughts. What do you think about this? Are you seeing your life differently as you are hearing this message? Let me know in the comments below. Or consider why we might overeat comfort food. The pleasant taste provides relief from emotional emptiness or stress. Our brains are wired to seek reward and avoid pain, but often avoiding pain takes priority. We flee discomfort first, and only secondarily do we gain a bit of pleasure as a side effect. A classic analogy in Buddhist teachings compares this to an itch and scratch. Having an itch is unpleasant, scratching it feels momentarily pleasant. But the pleasure of scratching is simply the brief relief of pain. If there were no itch, no underlying irritation, vigorously scraping your skin wouldn't be pleasurable at all, it might even hurt. In the same way, many of our pleasures are just relief from a prior discomfort. So please remember to click, like, and subscribe to the channel, your little way of saying thank you for enlightening this wisdom and wealth message. We call that relief, happiness, but as soon as we're satisfied, what happens? The pleasure fades, or turns into a new form of discomfort. We then seek something else to scratch the next itch. It's an endless cycle. Let's take a simple example, hunger and eating. Suppose you haven't eaten all day, you feel hunger pangs, suffering. Then you eat a pizza, and oh, it's blissful. That first slice tastes amazing, bringing relief and delight. We label that sensation pleasure. But what happens if you keep eating slice after slice? Eventually, you feel full, then uncomfortably stuffed. The same food that was pleasurable becomes painful when overindulged. As one Tibetan Lama dryly noted, when we began to eat it brought relief from the suffering of hunger and we labeled it pleasure, but as the discomfort of continuous eating became gross, we changed the label and called it suffering. What was pleasurable had become plain suffering. All that happened was that one suffering stopped, another suffering began. This is a vivid demonstration of what Buddhism calls the suffering of change. It wasn't that a heavenly happiness turned into suffering out of nowhere, rather, the relief of hunger could only last so long before it tipped into discomfort again. The underlying hunger was temporarily quelled, then replaced by the discomfort of overeating. This pattern applies to all sense pleasures and achievements. And with that message, I want to invite you to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more videos like this one, about achieving a sense of calm and balance. Every worldly joy arises dependent on conditions, fades as conditions change, and can even invert into dissatisfaction. Lounging in the sun on a cool day is delightful, until it gets too hot and your skin burns. Earning a promotion feels great, until the new role stress kicks in. Falling in love is exhilarating, until conflict or loss brings pain. None of this means pleasure is bad, it simply means pleasure cannot stand on its own as a lasting fulfillment. It is always in dynamic tension with its opposite, pain, like two sides of a coin. We spend much of life oscillating between the two, seeking comfort, then getting restless, chasing novelty, then getting overwhelmed, fulfilling desires, then finding ourselves burdened by the very things we acquired. The mechanics of desire, then, operate like a treadmill. We walk, or run, to escape the uncomfortable spot we're in, hoping the next step will land us in lasting happiness. But the treadmill moves with us, we exhaust ourselves but stay in roughly the same place, emotionally speaking. Psychologist Viktor Frankl keenly observed that happiness cannot be pursued directly, it must ensue as a byproduct of addressing more meaningful things. When we chase happiness itself, we inadvertently amplify our awareness of its absence. It's like chasing your shadow, the faster you run toward it, the faster it flees. Similarly, by constantly trying to grab pleasure and dodge pain, we actually reinforce the idea that something is missing, that I can't be okay with things as they are. This perpetuates a chronic dissatisfaction known in Buddhism as dukkha, often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness. So, what's the alternative? If the normal mode of life is this endless cycle of itch-scratch, crave-consume, and still not be content, how do we break free? The first step is to truly understand the cycle, to see that the happiness we seek in externals is inevitably fleeting because it's designed to relieve discomfort, not eliminate it. And if this message aligns with you, then I have only one thing left to say: click like, and please subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. That understanding sets the stage for a radical shift. Instead of running from suffering toward happiness, what if we turn around to face suffering itself and uproot it? This is exactly what a young prince-turned-mendicant did under a Bodhi tree in India 2,500 years ago. In doing so, he discovered a truth far more profound than any worldly pleasure, and charted a path for all of us to find freedom.